want to try something new in this edition of Anatomy of a Play. Instead of showing you the full play up front, let's stop it here. This is from Tuesday night's win over the Pistons, with Mike Conley bringing the ball up the floor and passing to Joe Ingles at the elbow. What do you think happens next? If you're an opposing scout watching the Jazz, the answer might be a few different things. As is often the case with the Jazz's layered offense under Quin Snyder, this might be part of a decoy preceding a different action. The most common of these is here, with Ingles faking a handoff to Conley, mostly just to keep the defenders on their toes, and then pivoting straight into a pick and roll with Rudy Gobert. It doesn't have to be the elbow area for Joe to run this little setup with Mike, as you'll see. They'll do it closer to the sideline as well, with Gobert nearby to set the next pick. If the defense happens to fall asleep or lean a certain way, maybe they'll deviate. More on that in just a little. It's not only Ingles and Conley who do this. Here's him running the same thing with Mitchell. Other times, Conley is much more than just a decoy. Sometimes he'll stop his run right away and screen for Ingles, which makes Gobert screen the second for the defense to deal with. The Clippers screw this one up and no one drops with Gobert on his roll, but even if they'd gotten it right, it's probably the smaller Nick Batum trailing Rudy instead of Serge Ibaka. As it is, the play opens up all sorts of holes in LA's defense and Rudy gets an easy bucket despite help. If the defense is prepared, though, they can snuff this variation out, as you'll see here. And just in general, the Jazz do all sorts of things with little two-wing handoffs. Again, at least half the time it's fluff, flowing into other stuff. All of which brings us back to our initial play from the top of the video. What is going to happen next? Keep in mind all the stuff we've seen so far, and know the opposing team has seen it too, both on film and in the first matchup between the Jazz and Pistons earlier this year. Let's roll the tape. Oh! Catching the D sleeping on perhaps the simplest element they should be defending, Conley simply takes the actual handoff from Ingles and walks in for a layup. Here's another example of the same variation, and we'll go into some more detail this time. First, note another Snyder fluff wrinkle, if you will, as Ingles first veers towards George Niang as if to set a pin-down screen. Again, this is just to keep the defense occupied and get them thinking about something else rather than what's really coming. Ingles flips back around as Niang clears out, though, and takes the pass from Conley. As soon as Mike notices JJ Redick pressed up to Joe and totally unprepared to help, he's sprinting into the handoff. By the time Conley rounds the corner here, the Jazz have effectively won this play already. Jackson Hayes, still absolutely clueless as a help defender, has his back turned, as if Rudy Gobert is a shooting threat out at 18 feet or something. Zion Williamson is maybe the worst help defender in the entire league, almost never paying attention to anyone but his own man. At the last second, there's a chance maybe Josh Hart could have helped here. Even if so, though, notice Jordan Clarkson screening off Zion. If Hart had managed to cut off Conley at the rim, Mike still would have had Niang wide open for a kick-out three. The Jazz always have action going on, all the time, even when the main play is nearly over. Conley has the angle, forces contact, and gets free throws. Astute Jazz fans might remember another old friend who ran this variation with Ingles, Ricky Rubio. The two did it constantly, and they had great chemistry with it. We all miss you, Ricky. Sorta.
Rubio with a pretty move.
Now, this play can be stopped if the defense is prepared and on their toes. The Pistons aren't good overall, but they actually have stretches of defensive competence. Notice Sekou Doumbouya not only sagging off Ingles on the wing here, but also pointing for the switch as soon as he sees the handoff coming. Conley's drive is cut off, and he flips it back out to Gobert for a reset pick and roll, but the Pistons contain that well also. The play is saved by a revved-up minivan, Niang, who catches his man ball-watching and cuts to the rim, plus caps it with a nice finish. Even easier for the defense is if Conley just bounces the ball off his own leg and out of bounds, though the Warriors look like they had the switch there too. Like nearly every part of Quin Snyder's offense, there's nothing revolutionary going on here. No unique set the defense has never seen before. No, Quin's teams score because while the defense might be familiar with the way the set looks when it starts, there's no way they're prepared for all the different ways it could go from there.